I'm gonna get going. We have 38 people. That should be good enough to start. I'm gonna close a few windows here so that they are not on my way. Please, at any point, if you see that there is some trouble, let me know so that I can stop and try to rearrange whatever is happening. So, welcome. This is the first BRAMS-OTP training session. I'm Alex Nieva, for those of you that don't know me. I'm a research agent at BRAMS. And at this point, I would like also to mention Nick Foster, since he has been a key player in the development of this platform, and all the team at BRAMS, and everybody that has helped somehow. Today, we're going to give a detailed introduction of the BRAMS-OTP, what it does, what it doesn't do. And we're going to focus on JDOS. JDOS is the platform that, or the piece of software that runs on top of all the hardware and software that we have here at BRAMS. Well, I think it's clear that internet-based technologies are mature to the point that we can use these tools to perform certain experimental tasks that otherwise had to be done in person here in the lab or in a guided study. And so because of the availability of these tools and because of the situation that we are living in, here at BRAMS, we have decided to implement this platform and help with the online testing process. So here's the outline of what I am going to be talking about. So what do you need to work on the BRAMS-OTP? What are the prerequisites? Then I'm gonna give you an introduction of the technological structure of the BRAMS-OTP really quick. And then I'm gonna give you a couple of examples how to prepare your experiment to work in JDOS, how to modify whatever you have to get into the JDOS platform, and then work on your JDOS local installation. You need to install JDOS, or you have to, or you can install JDOS in your computer, work there, do your testing, and then move on to the server to get the links that you're gonna send to your participant. We're gonna talk in detail about all these during this presentation. I hope to talk for 45 minutes. And I'm going to be changing windows back and forth between my browser, the PowerPoint presentation, and my Finder or Windows Explorer. I mean, you can work on a Mac, you can work on a Windows machine, on a Linux machine, of course. So I'm going to be going back and forth, so please bear with me. And if at some point I go too fast, please just let me know. In the end, hopefully, we're going to have a bunch of questions. So what do you need? Or what are the prerequisites to be able to work? You need an experiment that is coded in JavaScript and that is already working. I mean, we have, the platform gives you tools to manage your experiment, but then each experiment is different. Each researcher is different. So each study has to be coded in a way that you can get the goal that you want as a researcher, and that is the goal of your research project. So for these, I mean, you need basic programming experience, JavaScript basic user experience. All the web programming right now is happening, or not all, but pretty much a lot of it is using JavaScript. Knowing HTML is a plus, and so I would say all these things are important before you can get your experiment online. Also, if you have used MATLAB in the past, maybe Python, that helps. And if you haven't used any of these tools, well, it's probably a good time to start thinking about programming. So first of all, I want to show you an example of what the platform can do. And I'm going to click on this link, and hopefully it's going to show up. No, it's show up in my, I'm going to try to move it. It's in Safari. Okay, let's try to do it in Safari then. So this is the brand new BRAMS website. Please go take a look. We have a lot of beautiful things there. And here in the online testing platform page, we have a section or 3 demos right now. We are working on more stuff to put in here, but I want to show you this demo here, the OTP demo, and I think I shared my sound. So if you click on there, this is the link. Hello, one. So if you click on this link that has been created in the BRAMS-OTP platform, you will start the experiment. So let's do it, and hopefully it's gonna work. Yeah, there you go. So BRAMS, welcome to the major minor chords task. This is a short demo of an online task developed at BRAMS. Okay, we click. And then in this experiment, you will listen to several piano chords. Please respond whether the chord sounds major or minor. There are 4 trials. This is just a demo. Let's start. Were you able to listen to that, or to hear that? I hope so. So that was a minor chord, I think. So you would click minor. I think that's major. Minor. Major. Okay, that's it. I mean, that's a very, very short experiment, a very short demo of what you can do. But of course, you can extend this to the length that you need for your own research. And you can actually put pictures. As you can see, that BRAMS logo is a picture. And you can also put video. You can have, you can interact with the keyboard. You can interact with the mouse. So there are different things that you have coded in JavaScript and that you have uploaded to the BRAMS-OTP server, and that is helping you to get this experiment online. So let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation. And please raise your hand. I think you can raise your hand here if you have any questions at some point, or send me a chat message. I think you can do that too. If not, we'll try to answer all the questions at the end. So let's see. So here's the BRAMS-OTP structure. I have tried to use a set of layers to understand what is happening everywhere. And let's focus on the left side. So this is all the things that we have at BRAMS right now. We have a server computer. So if we focus on the far left, we have a server computer. It's a machine that we chose to use and that we connected to our storage devices here. And that machine is running Linux. And on top of Linux, we have a web server. And a few things are happening. I mean, it's not as simple as this, but in the end, you have JDOS that is your entry point to all this backend hardware and software that is managing the database, is managing all the communication through the internet. But JDOS is your port of entry. So JDOS is written in Java, which is not the same as JavaScript. So you have to have Java installed in all these in this Linux server, and of course, if you plan to install JDOS in your computer, you have to have Java installed, or the Java runtime environment. I'll show you how what it does in a minute. So that's this side of the world. But then what happens when your participant clicks on that link? So your participant is in the far right, and then he may be using Chrome. Right now, when I clicked on the link, it opened in Safari automatically. I didn't want to do that, but I didn't want Safari to come up, but it came. And then you could be in Firefox, or as you can see, there's a variety of interactions that could happen with a website. So you need to be aware that this is not as controlled as in the lab, but it's more like, okay, we have something happening on the web. We can say, okay, just use Chrome, but I mean, it could be that it opens in Firefox. So the participant clicks on the link, and then it makes a request to the server, and then the server is going to send that HTML JavaScript coded experiment via the internet and show it in the browser. And that is going to happen throughout the experiment, and that is how the participant is going to interact with all the stuff that we have here at BRAMS and all the experiment that you have coded here. So that's all good, and that's pretty much how all the web-based or the web pages work and how you interact with the internet. But where are you as an experimenter in this chart? You are here. You are using a code editor that could be Notepad in Windows, could be text edit, I think, or Sublime in a Mac, or whatever you are using, whatever operating system you're using. And you are coding in HTML, JavaScript, or you are using previously coded examples, you are modifying them, and then you are testing, finding bugs, more testing, more bugs, and until you're happy with your code, you're happy with the experiment, and you think you are ready to put it online for your participant to see it, right? So you could be working on JDOS directly, but that's not efficient. Maybe it's better to install JDOS in your computer first, and then go back and forth with all your testing until you are ready with your experiment, and then you request an account on the BRAMS-OTP, and then you upload your experiment to JDOS. In that way, you make sure you don't have any bugs, or you don't want to correct anything major in your code. And then your participant, you can start sending links to your participants. We'll talk about that later on. So what are we going to do right now? So that's basically how the BRAMS-OTP works. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to show you details on how to install JDOS using two examples. So here's where I'm going to do all the back and forth changes in my screen. So please, if any problems, let me know.
One.
There is a one thing going on. Okay, and
one.
Okay, let me see if I can. Okay, so what do we need to do? Here's all the steps that we're going to follow in this presentation. Hopefully it's going to go smoothly. And first, we need to install JDOS in your personal computer. So I'm gonna go to my browser, and I have can you see the browser? If not, please let me know. And you have to go to jdos.org, click on download, and just download the latest version, or right now JDOS is using version 3.56. We in the server have 3.54, which is we just haven't had enough time to update it to the latest version, but they are pretty functional, both of them. And what you would do you would download this file right here. Pretty much all computers have Java installed right now. Maybe in Windows you could have a problem, or you could not have it installed. Then you would go for this, but I have downloaded this in many computers, and pretty much the one that I use is jdos.zip. So if we download this file, you're ready to start doing installing JDOS. So here's the file that I downloaded previously, and this is my previous installation I was trying. I'm going to move it to a different folder. So basically what you do is you just unzip it, and then you have JDOS here. So JDOS comes with this file structure. It's important to look at it a little bit, because the directories, once you launch it for the first time, the directories are going to be created, the initial directories. After that, you don't have to do anything else. If you're working on a Windows computer, you would click on a loader bat. And if you're in a Mac, as I am right now, or you are in a Linux machine, you would run this loader sh. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to use the terminal, and I'm going to go to my desktop. There you go, and that's JDOS. So I'm gonna go to JDOS. So I'm just gonna click start. The first time is gonna take a few seconds. The next, the following ones, it's gonna be automatically. You just click this, and it says starting JDOS. As you can see, it's starting to create directories here for all the information that you're gonna start using. All this is happening in my computer. And it created a database, a folder called study assets root, which is important. That's where all the HTML JavaScript files are going to be. And it tells you, hey, to use JDOS, type 127.0.0.1.9000 in your browser. Okay, let's do that. So here's my browser. I'm going to type 127. There you go. That's it. You have JDOS running in your computer. You know that because this 127.0.0.1, that means it's your computer, your own computer. And JDOS has built-in admin account. So it's admin and the password is admin. That's it. You are now inside of JDOS, and here is all the information. I mean, it tells you a bunch of information, how many studies you have, how many users you have, where all your study assets root path is this. Your JDOS installation that is running is here. So that's it. We have installed JDOS. So let's go back to here. Okay, there you go. So now, just to start, we're going to import an example into JDOS. And this example I'm going to get from a very useful page, which is the JDOS page. So I'm going to go again to JDOS. And see, here it says example studies. We're going to use the example that everybody uses the first time you do something. In programming is the hello world example. So when you click here, you're going to download it into your computer. There you go. I think this is going to be here. And I'm going to put it in my desktop. Oh, no, it's not in my desktop. It is, oh, yeah. So you have hello world.zip here, but all the examples that are in the JDOS.org website already come prepared to be imported directly into JDOS. So if you go to JDOS again, you just say import study, and then you go to your desktop or wherever you downloaded it, you click on it, and you click open, and you just say import. And as you can see, hello world has been created in JDOS. And also, if you see here in study assets root, you have hello world, and you have all the information, all the HTML files that contain JavaScript already in the study assets root. So if you have, I don't know, 3 experiments in your research project, you would have experiment 1, experiment 2, experiment 3. So that's it. So we just imported an example in JDOS. Well, we haven't run it, so let's go back to the browser. And to run an experiment in JDOS, you can do it here. This one will run all the experiment, or you can run each component individually. We'll talk about more what a component is in a few minutes. So let's just run all the experiment. Just press any key to continue. So I'm pressing the space bar in my keyboard, and it says, well, we submit data. This is a very basic experiment. Probably doesn't, not probably, it doesn't do much, but it shows you all the things that you could do with JDOS. So here's the components properties. What's the study ID, the component ID, some JSON input data, and JSON is a type of file. We'll talk a little bit later on. I'm just showing you what this hello world experiment does. I'm going to put test here and press enter to continue. This data come from the study session. Press any key to continue, and that's it. So we just run a hello world experiment. We imported it directly from the example studies. There are a bunch, or several, I would say, with different types of stimuli, video, audio. So feel free and please, I would encourage you to go to this website and check out how other experiments have been implemented. You just download them and import them into your local JDOS installation. So we have done this part. Now, what I'm going to show you right now is how we created the experiment of the chords experiment. So how do we go from scratch to create an experiment? So let's go back to the browser and let's go back to our JDOS local installation. I'm going to create a new study. Give me 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. So we're going to create a new study. I'm just going to click here. My study is going to be called chords major minor. It's right there. And the study assets directory name is going to be, I can put the same name. Oh, what happened here? Oh, I have to click. Then you can put a description, comments, and there are other options here to be a group study, but I mean, that's a more advanced use of JDOS. We're not going to talk about that right now. So when I click create, you create a new study here. You see chords major, minor, and here in the study assets root, you create a directory that right now is empty because we haven't uploaded anything yet. So let's go back to PowerPoint. Create experiment in JDOS. This will create a folder in a CSS root. Okay, we have done that. So now it says modify already existing HTML JavaScript so that it works with JDOS. This part could be a little tricky, but the idea is that you have your experiment running in JavaScript, and then you have to use a few lines of code to make it work in JDOS. What are those lines of code? This is it. I suggest that you go through this in detail later on at your own pace, but basically what you need to do is to put this line in your HTML code to include the JDOS library. And then whatever function you are using, or whatever initialization function you are using in your JavaScript code, you need to wrap it with a JDOS.onload function. If you're an advanced user of JavaScript, you probably don't have this JSpsych in it, and you have coded everything from scratch in JavaScript. I have used JSpsych as a library that works with, that gives me already plugins to create cognitive experiments. So it really depends on how you are working with JavaScript. And then that would be it for that. And then you need to pass the results, for example, in this case, from JSpsych into JDOS, so that it's saved in the database. I mean, this is 98% necessary. I mean, you could not do that, but it is worth it doing it, because then JDOS, you can export your data from JDOS. If not, you would have to look at other options on how to get your data out of your experiment or your scripts. So having done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move into these chords major, minor, my files that I have for this experiment. So now, please bear with me a minute until I get the files. Okay. So I'm going to move this, which is my resource directory, into and give me 1 minute, that is downloading. Okay, there you go. So for me, I said OTP test with JDOS. So I'm going to copy, this is my HTML file, and it has, if we see with TextEdit, for example, oh, it's blocked. Okay, well, I'll do that later on, maybe in the questions section. I'm going to copy these. Okay, give me one. Oh, there you go. And I'm going to copy that into my chords, major, minor. So copy files into the assets directory, and then we have to create the first component. That part is important. I'm going to go back to here, and components. I'm going to create a new component. And this is going to be called full experiment, for example. And then index chords, it's going to be my component, since this is the name of the only HTML file that I have in my experiment. So I'm going to click create, and that creates just one component. And as, if you remember from the Hello World experiment, it had 5 components. In this case, I just created one component that has all my coding in JavaScript, and I'm going to click run, and hopefully this is going to work without problems. Let me just find my mouse. Where's my mouse? Oops, hopefully it disappeared. Where's my mouse? Oh, there it is. So if I click run, something happened. So now the way to I'm gonna try to check is it's not loading my oh, here. No, that's not the one. Okay, I think okay, we're gonna run again. Just one more try. If not, we're gonna go directly into the next section because yeah, for some reason it's not loading my my oh, here it is. There you go. Yeah, it's giving me this problem since the morning, but this is happening. I think I'm gonna try to fix this by the end, and I'll show it to you. Well, let's continue because it's already 30 minutes into the presentation. So what is a component? A component is just one. It's the main structure of your code. You can have just one big component, as I wrote here, that creates all the experiment, or you can have multiple components that are modules, and each one is going to do something little in your experiment. So it's important that you create your component and you link it to your HTML file. So that is the main part, the main thing when you create your experiment in JDOS. So that is well, we created a component. Well, it didn't work, but I'll fix it in a minute. So when you test, again, this is just what I was trying to do online. You click on run. This one will run the whole experiment, and this one will run just one experiment. I think what I can do is I can show you the online version of this in my account. And sorry, we went too fast. And that's pretty much it. So so yeah, let me show you that in my account right away. So if you go to the online testing at brams.org, you get to the page that I showed you at the beginning. And then if you scroll down, it says here, log into JDOS. And this is my account. Let's see if I remember my password. Of course I don't. Oh, sorry. What's happening with my mouse? There you go. There you go. So here is the chord, major, minor, and here you have the component that just we created, and I'm going to run it. And this is a modified version from the demo. And press any key to begin. This is the same idea. In this case, we're going to click the left arrow or the right arrow. If left arrow if it's minor, right arrow if it is major. Space bar to begin. This is just for me to debug. For example, this was my what I used to debug this, and then I click continue. If that is too loud, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna try to. Okay, so I think that was a minor chord, so it's a left key. That was a minor. So I'm clicking now my left arrow, my keyboard. That's a major chord. So this is going to run for quite a few trials because it's a longer experiment. But that is basically what would happen when you launch your experiment in your local version. So and that's it for creating components. So let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation, and from here, if the experiment is working, you're ready to move onto the online version. So, but then what do you do in the online version? You need to create links to send to your participants. Now, you can have this link as we have it in the BRAMS server, clickable for everyone, and you would just collect data from whoever lands into your experiment, or you can create specific links to send to participants and or what is called workers. And there are a few workers types, and JDOS worker is basically yourself in JDOS. So whenever you are testing in JDOS, you are a JDOS worker. But then you can have personal or general workers, a single and multiple. Single means that when you click on the link, it only works once. Then after, if you click it twice, it's not going to work again. But then if you have multiple, it works many times, or an infinite number of times, I would say. So here are the details. But basically, what you need to remember is that single means only one click allowed, and multiple means many clicks allowed. And then if you're going to put it in social media or you're going to put it on a website, it's better to use general. If you're going to send it directly to your participant, it's better to use personal. And that really depends on how you want to manage your experiment. So that's it about, no, there's another useful thing for creating your links. Is you can create batches. So that means that you can create groups of links. By default, you get a batch that is called default, but I created this test one batch, and when I create my links, I can choose which batch, but first, if you create a batch, you can also allow different types of workers in the batch. So you see, it starts to become more flexible every time you choose different options in JDOS. So it really depends. You need to plan ahead what you are going to be using and how you want your experiment to perform. And so how do you do this link creation? Basically, I mean, these are two screenshots of the website. So you would go to worker and batch manager, and I create a little workflow here. And then you go get worker links, and you would choose which batch you use. And then what you get is something like this. You would get a bunch of addresses. For example, in this case, I created 10 links for 10 participants. And the important thing to notice here is that you get a worker ID, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever number of links you created, and you need to copy this link, put it in probably an email, and send it to to your participant, because the idea is that your participant is remotely interacting with your experiment. So and it's important to remember this ID number, because that is I mean, in your notes or in your statistics, you need to know, if you want to know who took the test or the experiment, you would need this number. There are more sophisticated ways to do that automatically in JavaScript, but I would say the easiest way is to just take note of this number and then link it to the person you are sending it to. So if you need more workers or more batches, you just keep doing this until you reach the goal that you want. And that's it. So you're ready. You write to us, to the otp@bramsumontreal.ca. That is seen by me and probably in a less quantity by Nick. And we'll try to help you as soon as we can, getting you an account and explaining you details if needed. And then from here, it's pretty simple. What you do is you get the BRAMS-OTP account, you export your experiment from your local JDOS. By clicking here, export, you're gonna get a zip file, as I did with the Hello World experiment. And then you go online and then you import your study, as I did with the Hello World experiment. And it's gonna replicate the same experiment you have in your local installation onto the BRAMS-OTP JDOS account. And that's it. You're ready to create links the way I explained before and to send it to your participants. So of course, you need to test your experiment again. You get the worker links. And then once you're done with the participants, you get your data. And the easiest way to work with the data here is, again, just go to the results tab, and then you need to download two files. The one that says export results and export metadata. Export results, the results are basically the interactions your participant had with the experiment, and metadata is the information about the experiment. So the worker ID, for example. So, and that is better explained here. Export results and export metadata. Results have the responses you expect from the participant. Metadata has the admin information, such as the participant ID. So each line on the export results corresponds to each line on export metadata. So that way you can relate the data and the participant ID, for example, or other data that you get from the metadata. These files are usually or are exported in JSON type, which is a type of a structure that it makes it easier to organize data. And there are many JSON viewers and JSON data structures on the web, and it's pretty usable right now. And as I said, each line on exported results corresponds to each line on exported metadata. So I think this is it for how you get your experiment into the JDOS environment, and also how you get it into the BRAMS-OTP. I haven't covered much details on JavaScript, because that is not the objective of this presentation. But if you need more information, or it seems, of course, you can go to the BRAMS website. We are working on it really hard to get it to get as much information as we can. You can go to the JDOS page, of course, to the example studies. If you need a tutorial, this is a very nice one for JavaScript. It's 3 hours, so I'll get a cup of coffee and start early. And I use JSPsych. I think JSPsych is a very nice library that already implements a lot of the experiments that you would like to use. And to tell you the truth, I was not an experienced JavaScript programmer when I started this. I would say very, 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 very beginner. And JSPsych helped me a lot to understand both sides, right? The side of the experimental part of what kind of stimuli we can implement, and also how to relate that to JavaScript in an easier way. So I would really recommend starting that way. And I've been told that we may not repeat, but we will have probably a more focused question and answer session, probably 2 weeks from now. Keep, I will keep you posted. I have your emails, and I will send it to via the usual communication channels. And I think this is it for now. I would welcome questions. I made 42 minutes, so that's pretty good.
You have some questions there in the chat if you can see them.
Yes, I can see them. Let's see. So Floris Van Wood, if you already have a JS site, what is the added value of wrapping into JDOS? Oh, that's a good question, and I have gotten it a few times. If you have a JS site experiment, I guess the added value is that you can just send a link to your. Feel free to make the question again. I mean, you can send just the link to your participant, because if you just have JS Psych, the question would be, how do you transfer this to your participant? How do you? I mean, you have it in your computer working. You can put it on a web server. Probably if you have all that data already being exported into a text file, I would say yes, that could work. But then you can have JDOS gives you the opportunity to have a more managed experiment, and have the backup possibility in the servers. And there are many other tools that you could use with JDOS in order to optimize the way you transfer your experiment to your participant. The idea, I guess, is to make it almost transparent the way your participant interacts with a website. I mean, I think that there's that would be my answer to that question. I think there's another question, or let's see. Many of us, Emily Coffey, many of us use some of the same basic tasks as supplementary measures, like say auditory working memory or fine pitch discrimination. Is there some way we could start a collection of BRAMS standard experiments? The answer is yes. We are working towards that. We don't, for example, all these experiments that we are developing will be on the website for sure, but then we can create a specific repository for experiments. I mean, the idea of this is also to create some sort of community where everybody can benefit from whatever the other person has done, I mean, to the extent possible. And so I will be very, very happy if people could join us in this task, because, I mean, it has been demanding to put up all this info, to put online all these services. And we are trying as fast as we can to get, for example, I mean, I have had this question also, the ethical issues are important, and we're almost there with our documents about ethics. So there are details that are still getting there, but I think it's a good idea that if you are eager to share what you have done, we can have snippets of code that people can put into their own experiments. I think I'm going to go to Michael Weiss' question. Is there a way to transfer audio recording in the browser to the server? The answer is yes. We have I think Nick can help you with these more, but yeah, we have some code working on that, and oh, there's Nick. And I don't know if you want to add something, Nick.
Yeah, actually, I haven't gotten that part fully working just for lack of time rather than lack of ability. But I think it's quite simple. Presumably, you record. This is a technical answer, but I'll make it short. Presumably, you're recording your audio using the Web Audio API. Once you pull that audio out of the recording buffer, it is a blob, I believe, and I believe there's a JDOS function where you can simply upload that data, or any other file type data as a file. It will then appear in the JDOS dashboard where you see your results that are collected from your task, and there's a way to retrieve all the files that have been sent from the task during the testing, in the same way that you are able to download tables of the behavioral responses and so on. So I think it's actually it's quite simple, and there's built-in support for that with JDOS.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, and I guess the idea is, as we go along and implementing more experiments, and I know, Michael, you have implemented a few, and we should talk about your experiment soon. We can, and I think this idea of sharing and leveraging the expertise of people that are not that familiar with online testing, others that have more experience, could be really helpful for this to grow as a tool that many more people can use. If there are any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them, or to try to answer them. I guess we are done with the questions. What I would say is, if you have specific questions about JDOS or about the platform, please feel free to send us an email at otp@brams.umontreal.ca, and we're continuing our work with the BRAMS-OTP, populating all the information that we think it will be useful. And if you want to help us, we'll be really happy to. Oh, we have another question. Yes. Oh yeah, we're going to. Heather has been recording the session. So thank you very much, Heather, for helping with that. We are going to put this on our website, on the BRAMS website, and it could be also on the CRVLM website if it needed. And the slides, well, the slides are going to be in the recording, but if you need my slides, please just probably send me an email, or I'll just put them online, and you will be able to download them. Please allow me a couple of days until I fix a few things here, and I will do that as soon as I can. Well, so if there are no more questions, well, thank you very much for allowing me to speak about the BRAMS-OTP. It's been 51 minutes. I think it's been it's long enough. Okay, then there is Floris. JSPsych is very. The idea of I mean, we have plans on having a JavaScript based tutorial, probably not by me or by another person, but yes, that is an interesting topic. I mean, the question, sorry, I guess I didn't say the question. I would be interested in learning about JSPsych, and at some point as well, could that be a possible topic of a similar workshop? and as I was saying, yes, it's an interesting topic. I think if you go to the website, examples are very well documented, and so it's a good start. And but I think among the plans that the BRAMS and CRBLM are having is to devote more time to JavaScript and to not teaching, but I would say helping with JavaScript. And as soon as I have more information, I will share them with you. I will share it with you. Yeah, for sure. But if not, I mean, we'll try to cover as much as we can of the tools that are needed. As you can see, this is like a puzzle, right? Many things that are happening at the same time. You need to know where you are in the puzzle so that you can fit among all the other tools. As I said, you can have many browsers, or a few browsers that can run your experiment. You can code indefinite code editors, and you can have different flavors of libraries that implement plugins or functions for experimenting cognitive neuropsychology. So I guess the first idea is to position yourself in the right place and see where you can go from there, right? So and of course we are here to help in with JDOS and with the server part, and hopefully in the future we're going to be able to help more in the building of the experiments. Emily is saying that once some people are good at this stuff, perhaps we might also set up a way for non-experts to pay for some project-specific setup support. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I mean, the idea is to help the ones that are not that familiar, and the ones that know a little bit more share knowledge. I was not a JavaScript expert. I'm not a JavaScript expert right now, but I think I can handle it better now. So I guess it's a process that everybody can take on, and I'm sure it's going to give great results. I would say individual accounts would be better, because I mean, sorry, Aaron Click is asking, should a lab request a single user account on BRAMS-OTP? I would say an account because you can, I didn't show this, but with your account you can add people as members of the experiment. So for example, if you have an experiment going on and you have a collaborator, another another grad student or whoever works in your lab, and you want to collaborate with him or her, you can add him as part of the project, and now you both have access to the code. So if you add too many people, I would probably say maybe then that could be prone to changes in the code that you are not expecting. So and that's important when we talk about programming, is that the documentation and the code flow is important to maintain a structure, right? But yes, I would suggest get an individual account and then add people as needed. Yes, Michael Weiss, we should talk about your experiment. I mean, it's already on the server. We should put it online at some point, and then of course you can if you want to help people, that would be great. Yeah. So just in case the password for the built-in account is already set, if I'm not wrong. I'm going to check a few things after this. Thank you, Sebastian. So let's see. I'm going to close this. I think we are ready to finish. Okay, well, I think we are done with the questions. So thank you very much again. As I said, if you have any more specific questions, please send us an email to otp@brams.umontreal.ca. Thank you very much.